Defender is an iconic SUV nameplate that was last offered in the US back in the late 90s, but it's returned for the 2020 model year on this SUV. And while the Defender's styling is quite a bit different than Land Rover's other offerings, in other ways, it's surprisingly similar to them. Our time with the Defender was limited to on-road driving, but judging by the number of Land Rovers we see cruising around Chicago and its suburbs, the urban jungle is just as much of a Land Rover's natural habitat as an actual jungle. We hope to take it off-road at some point, but this video is all about how it performs on the street. The exterior design of the new Defender is quite a bit different than other Land Rovers. It's upright and blocky versus the sleeker looks of its siblings, and it has short front and rear overhangs, which are good for off-roading, as well as up to 11.5 inches of ground clearance. From the profile view, you can see some of the nods to previous Defender designs with the Alpine windows that are integrated into the roof. And as you move around to the rear of the SUV, it draws heavily on the Land Rover Series 2, which actually predated the prior Defender. And this comes through with the sharp angles, the prominent shoulder line, and the taillight design. The Defender has a rear swing gate instead of the increasingly common lift gate, and this has some pros and cons. On the plus side, it's a good mounting spot for a full-size spare tire, which you're going to need if you venture off-road. But a negative of this design is that it's hinged on the curbside, so if you find yourself parking in a tight spot on the street, it prevents access when it's open from the curbside. One cool feature that does make loading cargo or hitching a trailer easier is a lowering button for the air suspension that's located on the side of the cargo wall. The interior of the Defender is also a departure from the Land Rover norm, with more hard surfaces than leather and a more rugged overall look. You can see it on the dashboard where there's a powder-coated magnesium support beam which spans the width of the SUV and is a defining styling feature. The beam also serves to create some of the Defender's many cabin storage areas, which also include a big open lower center console storage bin. Even though there's something of a back-to-basics look about the Defender's cabin, it gets the brand's latest technology in the form of the Pivi Pro touchscreen multimedia system. I really appreciated the simplicity of the single-screen setup versus some of the dual-screen layouts you see in other Land Rovers. And the system supports over-the-air updates, so it has the latest technology without having to go back to your Land Rover dealer. It's a responsive system with an easy-to-use 10-inch touchscreen that looks great and also supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone connectivity. The Defender's front bucket seats are comfortable, and the wide padded center console lid is a comfy spot to rest your arm. Rather than a full leather upholstery like you'd see in other Land Rovers, the seats in our SE model were finished in leather center sections that were trimmed in a woven fabric. Again, kind of a more rugged look than the Land Rover norm. Taller adults can ride comfortably in the back seat, which has a lot of headroom even with the available panoramic moonroof like our model has. The seat cushion and backrest are fixed, but legroom is adequate. The back seat has an older style folding operation to get a flat extended cargo floor. You first have to flip forward the seat cushions before lowering the backrest. It's something you don't see as much anymore, especially on a brand new vehicle. Even though the Defender doesn't look like other Land Rovers, it does drive a lot like them, and that's a good thing. We tested the available inline 6-cylinder drivetrain, which features a turbocharger, an electric supercharger that helps build boost pressure, and mild hybrid technology. It's rated at 395 horsepower and 406 pounds-feet of torque, and it makes this big SUV feel surprisingly quick. It doesn't have the high-speed passing power that you get from one of Land Rover's supercharged V8s, but it's more than quick enough. The drivetrain works with an 8-speed automatic that makes the most of the inline 6's available power. It's a responsive transmission, and it never felt like it was in the wrong gear. The standard air suspension system delivers a firmer ride than you get in other Land Rovers, but it's not harsh, and it's poised and confident at highway speeds. The commanding driving position delivers great forward views too. Even though there's a mild hybrid drivetrain under the hood, the Defender is a thirsty SUV with an EPA estimated combined rating of 19 miles per gallon. More expensive than Land Rover's entry-level compact SUVs, but not as pricey as the brand's family of Range Rover models, The Defender slots alongside the Discovery in Land Rover's lineup. It's a unique luxury SUV that I think will appeal to a lot of SUV shoppers, regardless of whether they need its off-road capability or not. For more information, head over to cars.com.